I know that, when people find a relationship, it's like they're longing so much, like, I just want to spend time with them. I just want to be with them all the time. Like no separation at all, right? They're kind of just so attached to that. So how do you really go about because, we talked about healthy relationships and also just kind of also needing some type of like solitude. Can you speak about that? Why there's certain people who feel like they have to be attached to their partner. And if they're not, it's like they're going to leave or something. And they feel like, you know, they just can't be alone, even within the relationship. So now we're talking about it being in the relationship, right? Rather than just like, hey, do your own thing. I'm totally fine. Like I want to do my thing with my friends. And they're just like, no, I have to always just be around them.
Yeah, that's all comes from insecurity and also some kind of traumatic situations in the past, because it's either with previous partner, they have that, maybe jealousy going on. It can be with their parents too, that they didn't have enough attention from one of the parent, and now through the partner, they trying to gain that attention. And like for them, it's like, if you don't give me that attention, that means you don't love me.
Yeah.
Whereas like more free person who worked through their traumas, or like more confident in who they are, they don't need another person to be attached. It's more like, I'm strong on my own, you're strong on your own, and together we're stronger. It's
Mhm.
not like I'm strong, but there's this little piece of me that you can fulfill. It's more like, yeah, together we build up something even bigger than if I was by myself. Yeah, mostly it's some kind of like traumatic experience that they try to cover up with the person next to them. What they need to do is really to look at themselves first and be confident with themselves, like that loneliness feeling. Um, if you feel lonely without a person and you feel like you have to, I was the same too. Like my first love, I was crying when he was away. Like I was like crying
Yeah.
because I miss him so much. But at least it was first love only. Like I wasn't that crazy going like after
I
that.
think we've all been there, times where it's
But I
like we just don't
remember
even know what to
myself.
do because it's a new thing. You don't even know how to react. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It was so strong for me, and I was like really literally crying because he was just away for 2 days. But it's definitely, yeah, at least back it's like hormonal on some level and like emotional. But like, so the women I work with now, they're more like grown, they're confident in who they are. But of course, like, yeah, if you do work through some attachment issues and it mostly, I would say, it comes from their past, from their own experience with either partner who did them wrong, or parents who what they saw growing up, that this is how you earn love, maybe that just being next to the person, and this is what real love, if they always around you, and if they are not, that means they don't love you. That's very common for people.
Yeah, so true.
But I wouldn't say that there's only one way or no way. Like each couple, they should really talk through how much attention each of them need, and what kind of love languages both of them have, and how they understand love and how they show love. This conversation have to happen. What kind of boundaries it has to be discussed. Like boundaries as like physical, financial, like all of that. It should be talked through within a couple once they form the couple, or even before they decide to be serious. Those things should be talked through, and that's what mindfulness is about as well. Because like you don't hide anything. You just who you are, and you want to be your best self with that person. So if you start like avoiding financial topics, like not even discussing the budget or who pays for what, that would be also like big problem later. Um, so yeah, that it comes to a lot of communication in a couple, and figuring their own way of what's good for them, what's enough for them. Maybe for one person, and it happens a lot, that for one person it would be good enough to see the other like twice a week, and the rest they kind of keep to themselves. But other person, they more like, they love physical touch. They want to feel that person next to them, and that's how they will feel loved. and they have that need to really like be next to them, touch them. So that's should be discussed and then kind of balanced out between them. That's what I used to coach couples for some time. So a few couples were like really, we were going through like each little detail, how they communicate, how they set their boundaries. And that was very helpful for them, like, because I was surprised how much they don't talk about. Like, and while we start like going through all these topics, it started like they start bringing it up and learning again about each other, basically.
Can you kind of mention the five love languages so maybe people might not know what they are? Just like as a,
Um,
just like really quickly, just that like as a recap.
So there is physical touch, gifts, giving the gifts, the quality time together. What else? It's probably my first three, my favorite. So quality time, then acts of service when someone does something useful to the other. That's actually my favorite. I remember words of affirmation.
Okay. Okay. So,
Yeah.
and what that means, what that means to you. And then you should, communicate that with your partner because then
Yeah.
otherwise you guys are just gonna, like you said, right, not even realize or understand that they are loving, but yet you don't see it because they're
You
not
don't.
communicating in
Yeah.
your love language, right?
Like I had this problem with my previous relationship. Like for me, men showing me love is by acts of service. Like I need them to do something useful for me so I can feel that they are like they're attentive to me, they hear and listen to me that what I need. Like literally even like if I can't go to buy some groceries and they do it for me, they just go and buy those groceries that I need and bring it to me. Like that's already like showing me that okay, he cared, he listened to me, he understood that I don't have time for it, and he did it for me. And I would appreciate it so much. That would be like, that's it, I'm sold. But for the person I dated, for him, the most important was the words of affirmation. And I'm not good at words of affirmation, to be honest. Like I'm more like, let me do something because I'm receiving same as I'm giving. So I'm like, let me do something for you useful so you understand I love you. But for him, it's like, no, I don't need you to do for me anything. You just tell me that you appreciate me. Tell me the words that I will like to hear, basically. And that took me a while, like to actually start talking because it's just not me. But I did want him to feel the love, and I just started like improving. I created even like appreciation letters kind of practice between us. I would just write down what I appreciate in him, maybe something he's done for me and how I like the way he is, and just give it to him occasionally, like once in a few months. That was a good practice for us, for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for sharing. That was very, very informative, and I'm sure the people listening in super helpful.
thank you. Yeah. Um, well, tell me more about Ayurvedic practices, and I know that it's very close to mindfulness as well. So, like how it like cross path and how it complements each other with a whole holistic approach.
So, as I mentioned earlier, Ayurveda is just it's basically balancing your mind, body, and soul. So it's just taking your whole body and everything that it encompasses and just harmonizing in a way that you're just a balanced being. Not just like, how Western medicine here is just, they just keep on feeding you the pharmaceutical drugs. So that's your physical body, right? But then what about your mental and emotional and like your body at the soul level? Because we're not just, this physical body, right? Like, as you mentioned, there's so much more than meets the eye. And so when you want to be healed and kind of, just balanced, then there's a lot of different approaches that you need to really take, from different angles. And I would say that mindfulness is just, there's so many different practices like you talked about, right? Just like your limiting beliefs, just focusing back on that consciousness that all of us, has inside of us. And just knowing that we're so much more than, just whatever we're experiencing in this world right now. I mean, it's like all the thoughts we have, everything that's like, residing inside of us. And so Ayurveda and mindfulness is completely like just complementary. I mean, it just like, fits in so much because really Ayurveda is very big on just all mindfulness practices because as we talked about, I think it was the last session that disease just doesn't happen on its own. Health issues don't happen on its own. Just a lot of like our mental and emotional illnesses or thought processes really affect how our body is feeling. So say you're always like in a fear mode or always worrying about something. Your body is not going to thrive after a certain amount of time because you're in such a negative state of thoughts all the time that it's eventually going to, that energy is going to become stagnant somewhere in some organ, some place, right? And so it's going to manifest into some type of disease. Maybe it's like some liver issue or something in the heart or something, wherever in your body, because maybe we're feeling very inadequate, like you mentioned, not feeling whole as like ourselves, right? And always feeling like we need something outside of us, either as a person, either it's like status, our money, something like materialistic, like a car, job, just something where we feel more validated. And because really that's only going to be just for a short period of time, because after a while, we're going to go back to baseline, how we feel. We're going to start feeling inadequate again because, hey, we got the house, we got the car, maybe we got something else, but then we're still not feeling good about ourselves, right? We're still feeling like we're not deserving or worthy enough. And so then we're going to keep on like what we're going to do. And a lot of people just do this. We do it as humans. It's just that we keep searching for something greater, something bigger, like running after something else, right? More shinier. And it's never going to be at a place then where we feel satisfied until you just feel satisfied within, just by yourself. And as you mentioned, self-love practices, just feeling completely like satisfied within, that's the only way you're going to be able to achieve that. Then everything else that comes in from the outside, it's just kind of like, icing on the cake, right? It's all going to be beautiful, but it's not necessary. It's not something that we need. It's something that we might want, but then it's just kind of like, if it comes, it comes. And if it goes, it goes, right? We are not as attached to it. And to me, I think a lot of these holistic practices, if we can just become so much more detached from things in life and everything else that comes our way, we'll be able to just flow better in life. We'll be able to be more present. We'll be able to like just keep our bodies out of like harm's way or diseases because we're not so fixated on something that we have to have, right? And especially on the outside. And I see that, just a lot with people, and I'm sure you do too in your work, is that, we don't even realize why we want certain things. Why do we want a man that's like the CEO or like the director? Why do we want someone that has like the big car? Or why do we want all these name brand shoes and purses and like items, right? Because we want to feel like we made it in this world. We've arrived, we became something. And it's not necessarily for us either. I mean, think about it. For me, at least, if I lived on an island, I probably wouldn't even care, right? Because no one's going to see it. Half the things that a lot of us do is for other people to see. And then, think, oh, wow, so-and-so is like really doing well. They're doing so amazing. They got all these, cool things. Yeah, it's that validation, right? And approval. But once you can seek that from yourself and give it to yourself and keep on providing it, to yourself without the external, that's when, you really come to a place where you can start growing. And all of these practices then really just build on each other, like the meditation and the breath work and just, chakra healing, whatever else, right? The energy centers that you have in your body. And that's when, you start to, like you said, really know, like, why am I here? What's my purpose here? Just like these greater things rather than just, just looking like the perfect, person on the outside and then really feeling so empty on the inside, because that's not really going to get you anywhere long term at all. And So my focus with the holistic practices within Ayurveda is just to really get a person back into like that wholeness and not really just like parts of them that don't feel connected, and just to really connect everything together though. So they feel like everything is kind of glued in and everything is like in place, kind of a thing. Rather than like, I'm really good with my physical body, I take care of it, but mentally I'm just not there. I'm just not able to focus. I'm just all over the place. So Ayurveda is kind of like I guess I would say like a tool just to be able to like, focus on our bodies and our well-being. And I've personally seen amazing results with just, all of those different modalities. So I think, yeah, it works.
Is it what most clients come to you with? Like they feel out of balance, they have health issues, or like what kind of requests usually your clients have?
Um, I would say, yeah, I think sometimes people don't even know where their imbalance is. Um, but it's more of just like, I don't feel right. I don't feel like connected to myself. I feel distracted all the time. I feel like I'm always constantly just running around trying to please other people, right? We haven't talked a lot about perfectionism or like people pleasing, but those are huge tendencies for people who are just looking outside of themselves always, because with that comes a lot of validation, right? And approval for other people. So they sometimes come with certain things that they see on the outside that they're doing, or maybe they do see physical symptoms, but then uncovering certain things, like you said, then the patterns become really evident. And so sometimes it can be something else. But overall, the goal is to balance the mind, body, and soul. And once you do that, then everything just kind of starts to like fall into place, because the body knows how to heal itself. It knows how to balance itself once you give it the right tools and allow it to just do its job, rather than kind of like getting in the way and trying to do too much and trying to think too much and trying to like rationalize things, because sometimes things are not, they're not meant to be rationalized. It's just that's how life is. Just up and down, uncertain, but we just, once we learn that we can just go with the flow of that uncertainty, then it's like, okay, I can like, accomplish or tackle anything rather than fighting it all the time. And I think that's where a lot of times people experience that the health issues or the problems is that when we're just trying to fight every single thing that comes up in our life.
Yeah. Yeah, balanced mind, body, and soul. That's like once you reach it, you're like undestroyable. You're just the best version.
Yeah, you can accomplish anything. And really, then I think it's kind of interesting is that once before that, we want so many things and we think we need so many things externally. But then when we're in this like new place, it's almost like these things have come, but we don't really have a desire for it anymore. It's kind of like a kid who like wants all these toys, and once you buy them, they're not playing with it anymore, right? They're just kind of like, oh, they're playing with a box, or just like, the carton that came on with, or like, the dishes in the like the kitchen or something, because something else is more interesting. So there's always going to be shinier tools out there. So once you can just really balance like your foundation, like kind of like the drivers in your life, then everything else is just really easy. It's just, if it comes, it comes. If it goes, it goes. And it's just, you're kind of more in that Zen stage where it's like totally cool with whatever is happening. If right now it's a season of not having too many friends, that's okay. Or if it's like, I have a lot of friends, that's okay too. And not just become so attached to that, just still being kind of like even, whatever life is throwing at you.
Yeah, I love the concept of being balanced overall, and that's where I'm always aiming myself, like to keep balance um, for my body, especially with my panic attacks in the past. And I'm also more Vata, right? Like the
Yes.
one area.
Yeah. I'm definitely more about that too.
Yeah, so it's really like I need to ground myself all the time. And one tool I found is dances, like dance classes. I started
Oh,
going for dance classes, and it grounds me so much. I realized how much I don't feel my body. Like I can't memorize the routines as other girls do. They memorize it fast, and I'm like, why? Like, so I need a little bit longer time to memorize routines and to feel every move. So I
Yeah.
realized, yeah, I'm a lot of in my head through even that, like through just dance practices. It grounds me.
Well, it's whatever. I mean, it's whatever allows you to get outside of that head and just constantly just be like, in that state of like thinking. So if you're dancing, you're not really thinking, right? You're just kind of like, you're in this creative
Yeah.
space. You're just flowing. You're just like in the present moment. You're just letting your body just kind of move and it's happy. And so you're giving in that space to just kind of like be for that certain moment. So it's
Mhm.
perfect. And I
Yeah.
think like you said, I'm a very high vata too. So I have to always constantly like calm myself, just do practices that, just keep on like, giving me more peace. And I know that there's people who are like, well, why do you need so much sleep? Or why do you need to like rest so much? Or why do you just whatever. And, we don't really need to justify what our bodies need. It's a matter of recognizing what our body needs and giving it what it needs because your body is very smart and it's very intelligent. So it knows what it needs in that moment in order for it to feel balanced. But what we do as people is like, oh no, I'm lazy. Why am I feeling like this? I shouldn't do this right now. Shouldn't, couldn't. They're very detrimental words, right? But rather than fighting it, just give it what it needs and it's going to then do what it knows how to do best, which is just flow and just kind of like be in that state of life that you are wanting it to, but don't push it. That's it. It's not a machine, and eventually it's gonna wear down if we don't love it and if we don't honor it.
Yeah, that's how you gain all the diseases. It actually
Exactly.
shows you like what you like the thinking pattern that is not right for you and behavior
Yeah.
that yeah, the body just shows right away. That's
Yeah.
great tool.
For sure. For sure.
Well, it
All
was
right.
great
Well, this
talking
was
to
really
you.
good. And I really enjoyed our discussion. And next week, hopefully, we can get into some other really cool topics.
Yeah, some important deeper topics. Yeah.
There's so many to discuss. That's why I love just holistic approaches to health and then just mindfulness because it's just so vast and so deep. I mean, it's just like I could talk about it for endless hours and it's just so intriguing. And it's just, there's so much mystery to it, but it's just so fascinating as well.
And I hope it was very useful for the listeners of this
Yeah.
video. You'll
Do
find
you
it.
want to tell the viewers again if they want to, how they can reach you, if they want to get a hold of you, start to work with you?
Yes, so I have my website and I have my Instagram, my YouTube channel, TikTok. And so I'm trying to channel, like to be on all the channels. But yeah, just find my contacts on my website where I'm gonna add to this description on the YouTube channel. And you can schedule a call with me for free introduction call where we will figure out how I can help client in what way we can work together. And mostly it's going to be one-on-one coaching. And specifically now I focus on women over 30 who are exactly like in the situation that I mentioned before. They cannot find the high quality man for themselves and they feel lost. So we can work on that. And I can help you to find that self-confidence and find self-love through the practices that I learned and I teach. How about you? How they can reach you?
Yeah, so I'm also on Instagram, Radiant Soul Mindset, and also on TikTok as well with the same. And my website, you can also just contact me there, radiantsoulayurveda.com. If you guys want to reach out to me, balance your mind, body, and soul, and not have to rely on any pharmaceuticals because they're not necessary, really. Once we are able to really harness the power of our mind, anything is possible and everything is possible. And so, for any of you out there who are looking to do that, I am excited to work with you. So please reach out. Thank you.